and welcome to another episode of the Lunchbox. We are tragically a week behind due to unforeseen circumstances and technical difficulties. I am Leah LeahMouse.
And I am Michael. Please go to 11. Roxas.
And in case you couldn't tell based on the title of the video and our names, this episode is all about music!
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands. Jazz hands!
Oh.
Good job!
Thank you.
And as you can also probably see, we're in a hotel room because we are traveling men, made a lot of stops. Except for we're not men.
They call us a wanderer, oh, the wanderer.
Round and round and round and round, or whatever that is. This chair, if you hear it, it's quite loud. So, I'm sorry for that.
Quite loud.
We've got our little Ramada complimentary hotel room coffees. Thank you very much.
Fresh off the vine.
So we're gonna start off, speaking of music theory and all of it that is crammed into my head, how about I teach some of it to you in the following wonderfully animated and edited and put together little educational short by me. I'm already boring my co-host. Enjoy the learning.
Enjoy.
A piece of music starts with a staff. These are the lines on which we put the notes to be played. There are two clefs, one staff for each. One is the treble clef and the other is the bass clef. If you think of a piano, the treble clef houses the notes for the right hand to play on the higher notes of the keyboard, and the bass clef is for the left hand or the lower half of the keyboard. Each note on the staff has a name. They go alphabetically from A to G and then start over again. Two notes with the same name but that are different pitches, either higher or lower, are called octaves. Any note on the staff can be raised or lowered a half a step. Think of the black keys on a piano keyboard. These are called sharps and flats. To know which notes to do this with in a piece of music, we use a key signature. This tells us specifically which notes to play, either sharp or flat, for the entire piece. Next, we need to know what the rhythm of the song will be. For this, we section off parts of the staff into measures. Each measure is responsible for being mathematically equal to every other measure with the distribution of counts, or beats. The time signature tells us what the rhythm is going to be for the song. The number on top tells us how many beats or counts per measure, in this case 4, and the bottom number indicates what types of notes gets one count. In this case, it's a quarter note. This 4/4 time signature is the most common. You could probably pick it out in most, if not all, of your favorite songs. There are several different types of notes, and using the 4/4 time signature to illustrate, a whole note gets 4 counts, a half note gets 2 counts, a quarter note gets 1 count, an eighth note gets half a count, and a 16th note gets a quarter of a count. Depending on what you want the rhythm of your song to be, you can arrange these types of notes however you want as long as each measure mathematically equals 4 counts. For example, a simple pulsing beat would just be 4 quarter notes in each measure. To make the beat feel faster, you would use eighth notes, 8 in each measure, to equal the 4 required counts. For each type of note, there is also something called a rest. Rests are what you use when you don't want any sound for a specific count. As with the notes, the types of rests are whole, half, quarter, eighth, and 16th. And guess what? They get the same amount of counts as the notes. So if you want your rhythm to be broken up a bit, you just put in rests. Of course, there's a lot more to music, and there are a whole lot more symbols, terms, and complex things to learn if you're truly interested. But these are the basic fundamentals of music, and if you can master them, you're well on your way to learning how to read music and even playing an instrument. Remember, everyone has to start at the beginning. Yes, wasn't that a good time? We all learned something, and we're all a little bit brighter at the end of the day.
In light of my series of interests, we'll be discussing a short piece of music history, most notably Western music history, as it began in the Greek time period or with Gregorian chant. So I'll be getting into a little portion of music history.
Take it away, Mike!
As it is commonly understood, music, i.e. most notably Western music, is broken down into a series of periods and eras. The periods are generally synonymous to epochs, or larger scale portions of time akin to standard historical time periods, whereas eras are smaller scale segments that are more culture and style centric. Western classical music history is traditionally understood as beginning with Gregorian chant, early period medieval era of the Roman Catholic Church. Gregorian chant was transmitted by memory until the early 9th century, when the Holy Roman Emperor Charlemagne arranged for it to be notated and for standardized plain chant books to be distributed to churches and monasteries across Europe. Medieval, 500 to 1400, Renaissance, 1400 to 1600, Baroque, 1600 to 1760, Classical, 1730 to 1820, Romantic, 1780 to 1910, and the 20th century, which is a breakdown of any music after the Romantic period, roughly the 1900s to the present day. Starting with Baroque history, the Baroque era of Western classical music is usually defined as a period from 1600 to 1750. The two stylistic tendencies that define the Baroque were an increased interest in the solo voice, opera, and the rise in the status of instruments and instrumental music. In the focus on instrumental music, Baroque musicians valued no instrument more highly than the violin, most notable composer of this era being Johann Sebastian Bach. Following the Baroque period, we delve into the classical, and with regards to Western music, the latter half of the 18th century is often referred to as the classical period. The music of this period is considered very different from that of the Baroque period, notable composers of the era being Mozart and Beethoven. Three disparities that mark the transition from Baroque to classical are a change in the style of solo keyboard in order to convey the complexities and range of the human voice with an instrument alone, the introduction of the symphony, a multi-movement work for orchestra, and a movement known as Reform opera, which is essentially a break from tradition and the stilted conventions of the Italian opera to make it more directly expressive, with more focus on a narrative and less on elaborate solos to the benefit of the singer. The Romantic era was the heyday of the programmatic orchestral work. A program, being, in the musical sense, a narrative that is tied to be represented or at least suggested by an instrumental composition to tell a story. In short, it is a blend of music and other media to create a complete work of art to tell said story, like a movie. Most notable composers of this era are Chopin and Wagner. Following the Romantic era is the 20th century era. With the advent of the 20th century, it brought a new level of freedom and experimentation with new musical styles and forms that challenge the accepted rules of the musical conventions of the previous eras, and the resulting revolution in music listening occurred in tandem with the radio as it gained popularity worldwide. Also, new medias and technologies were developed to record, capture, refine, and distribute music. Music performances also began to emphasize visuals to include music videos and concerts, akin to the programmatic works of the Romantic era. Another factor to consider is the increasing portability of music with the advent of Walkman and iPods, which led to a burgeoning world market and the creation of pop music. Lastly, I would be remiss to leave out the invention of musical amplification and electronic instruments, which revolutionized music even further. Most notable artists of the 20th century: Debussy, Gershwin, moving forward Elvis, Michael Jackson, Metallica, to all of your favorite bands, solo singers, and musical artists of your time. Along with the increasing experimentation and freedom that music has now attained, we have experienced a burgeoning increase in the amount of genres, most notably blues, country, jazz, big band, hip-hop, rock, pop, metal, techno, you name it. This brief introduction into the various periods and eras and descriptions of the styles associated with each was just a primer towards all the information that actually exists. I hope you learned something from this.
Okay, I know all of you love history, so I really hope you learned and remembered something.
I know, I did.
Me too.
You're right, I do think that face a lot. Oh. Since we're both musicians, we are each going to play our respective instruments. He has his guitar, and I have my keyboard here. And we are going to start with... Oh, go ahead.
Guitar.
With guitar.
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 But these go to Ed Apple. Okay, let's see what we got.
Alright, I'm gonna let you finish. But Hans Zimmer had the best musical composition of all time.
Alright, but in all seriousness, the song I'm about to play, it's a sort of a tribute song that I devoted to Millie. Now, I never had the opportunity to meet her. but from what I heard and from the circumstances I've gathered, I'm sure she would have been something I would have been very fond of, especially as your friend.
Yeah.
So as a gift to you and anyone who knew her, and the potential that I would have liked her as much as the beautiful LeahMouse does, I've created her a song. That's a song I made a couple weeks after she passed away, and I simply call it Millie's Song. And strangely, it's the only song I've actually titled.
And I love that song, and I know she would love it too. And I know anybody who is watching, who knew her, probably agreed that that song, it feels like Millie. And since we did the show, we started the show in honor of her, I think it's only fitting that that was the song that you played, and I'm really happy for that.
It's a fitting tribute,
It
or
is.
rather, I would hope it is.
Yeah, it is. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you, my dear.
Yes. My piano playing, obviously, I can't write my own music, so I gotta play from books, and I gotta play stuff that already exists. I'm just gonna do something fun, and hopefully pick up the mood a little bit, and just have some fun. Sing if you know it. Da, da,
Still sounded awesome.
Thanks. I was just like, winging it at the last minute. Hell, let's play a whole new world. That could have been a nice tribute to Millie too, to be honest, because we sang a lot of Disney songs together when I stayed with her, if you recall.
Oh, I recall.
I played an Aladdin song for Millie, so there's my tribute. Alright. Moving on. You know what I think would be fun?
No, what would be fun, Leah?
Oh, I'm Mario. This is how I talk. And did you know that in ancient Greece, the piano actually didn't exist because fructose and other scientific things and corn.
Oh, Leah. Cats. Cats. Oh, there's a whole thing. Oh, flap, 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 flap. Oh, God. Spot on, babe. Spot on. What I think might be fun is if we switch instruments. But butter is for bread.
Oh, God.
We were just talking about my redneck roots earlier. Nah, we won't get into that. Anyway, let's swap.
Okay.
Change places.
I'll go first.
Alright.
Might as well keep it in the theme of guitar, piano, guitar, piano.
Oh,
It's fun.
Leah, I like funny style.
I'm Mike and I don't find that the least bit funny. There's a scientific explanation for that and I...
Okay, I'm gonna try to guitar. Alright, dang it, I don't have a pick, but I'll be alright. Shit just got serious. Took my hair behind my ears.
No shit.
Duh. See, I know some chords. Oh, that wasn't a chord.
I'm sure it was some type of complex
It was
chord.
beautiful. Well, that's all I got. Show me what you got on the piano.
I guess if I remember.
Okay, you've successfully put me to shame on
That's all I know.
2 instruments now.
I did not put you to shame on
Oh,
two
but you
instruments.
did.
No, I did not. You're way better at piano than me. I've actually had some piano experience years ago, years in ancient days. Time is best forgotten.
Mm.
And that, my friends, is Let It Be by the Beatles.
Good job. That was actually very good. I am quite impressed, especially considering you don't use your thumbs.
Thumbs are for sissies.
Cats.
Cats. Well, thumbs are actually evolved. Actually, from let's see.
Oh my god. Cats, baking, and pies, and cats.
Bye, my hair.
With that, I mean, I suppose we should give them a little background on how we got started as musicians. So while we're talking about you, you might as well start. Maestro.
Alright, Maestro. I guess you want to talk about my musical history. And it wasn't until I hit about middle school. My instrument of choice at the time was my dad bought me a $70, $80 keyboard. But I would hear the songs and I would just keep messing with them, and I'd by ear, I would teach myself Let It Be. Like I picked that out by liking the song. It took a while, but I actually got it that way, and I'm sure it's not 100% correct, but no, I can hear it well enough. I played the piano for about 6 months, didn't learn any theory. After that 6 months though, I kind of stopped playing, didn't touch a single instrument through the rest of my school career, all through high school. Well, I did pick up my friend's guitar. I had a friend named Neil, and he always played guitar, and I'd pick up his guitar. But it wasn't until I was in my early 20s that I actually went and bought my own guitar. And I started off shredding, in line with the whole metalhead attitude. Shredding, sweep picking, all that piddly diddly type of stuff. And I did that for a little while until I ended up going away for about 7 months, and I didn't have access to a guitar. And when I came back, strangely enough, I came back better. I think it's because I came back with so many ideas. But I played for about another 2 years, and I left again for another 5.5 months. So it was actually kind of hellish going for a full year without a guitar.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I got back from that location where I started taking guitar a little more seriously. And I actually made the jump from shredding and electric, which I could still do that, but it's not my preference, to acoustic. And I started just playing with 2 fingers at a time, doing this little finger picking style. It just sounded cool. And then in the last 2-3 years, that's when I actually started playing the full-on, I guess, classical style. Now, I don't know anything about theory, as the beautiful Leah has already stated. I know nothing about theory. I don't know anything about structure, chord progression. I just hear it, and then I work around the neck until I find the sound that I'm hearing in my head. So they're all structured internally, and I don't play them on the fly. I can't do that, but my best songs actually, I hear them, and I keep messing around until I find it, essentially. But some of my best songs I've heard from dreams, or they've been inspired by people, things like that. But I'm essentially fully untrained. I just hear it in my head and pick them out.
It's amazing to me. That is completely amazing.
I'm playing for about a little over 7 years now. I actually do have one of my first great songs, in my opinion. I wrote from watching some of Mouse's videos. They inspired me. I don't know, they just put me in a place I was happy watching them. And I was always a huge fan. What an understatement. I was a huge fan, and was watching her videos that I actually crafted one of my best songs. And since then, it's became what I call the trilogy, or the trio.
The trio,
It's a series of 3 songs all devoted to Miss Mouse here.
Aww, shucks.
And they're all for her. On to you, dear.
Okay, my background, none of you know this, I don't think. Okay, my family, big musicians on my dad's side. My dad played the trombone. His sister, his older sister played trumpet, I believe. And then the older sister above her was a piano player. And she actually went to college to be a piano player and everything. So that's how she's made her entire living. It's my Aunt Kathy. When I was growing up, my mom always took me up there, to visit. And my dad would take me up there, obviously, it's his sister. So she always had this baby grand piano, and when I was a wee little teeny tiny thing, I would always plink around on the keys, and I just sort of picked up little tunes by ear, just simple things, like, just stuff like that. And so when I was like 3, I think my mom was like, I want to get you into piano lessons. So she set it up, and I started taking piano lessons. So I took piano lessons all the way from when I was 3 or 4 until I was about 17 years old. So that's how I got started on the piano track. And then when I was in high school, I became obsessed with music history and theory specifically. I actually took a music theory class in high school my junior year. And then I signed up for the exact same class again my senior year. Same exact class, same material, but I loved it so much I wanted to take it again. And I got an A+ the first time around. but I just wanted to take it again. I wanted to relearn, just really grill it into my head. And they were like, okay, you can take it again, but we can't give you credit since you already took it. But they kind of screwed up and forgot that they said that, and I got credit for it anyway. So I got another A+ in the class, and I still got credit towards my GPA. Awesome. Yeah. And then when I went to college, both colleges I went to that offered music theory, I took music theory again. So I have a lot of music theory in my head. It's all jam-packed in there, and then of course I got the piano that's just stuck with me. I've been playing the piano for as long as I've been reading and writing the English language, so it's just second nature to me. Oh, it's just there.
Nothing special.
Music in the news. This one pains me to say it because I know most of our audience probably isn't going to be excited about this, but it is music in the news nonetheless. One Direction, the band One Direction, has won Artist of the Year, VMAs, for the second year in a row. I'm really teetering on reacting to this because I don't want to piss anybody off, but
Overrated.
what he said. We legitimately wanted to give them a chance because neither one of us had ever heard their music to our knowledge. So we actually listened, I hesitate to call it music. It's not bad. The one song we listened to, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't like an assault on my ears or anything, but it's not something that I would listen to. Like if I was flipping through the radio stations, it was literally the only thing on that wasn't like talk radio or a commercial, I might listen to it.
You're better than me.
Well, I'd flip back to classic rock immediately afterwards, let me tell you. But
I disagree. It was trite, repetitive, boring, required very little talent. They're more just figureheads in the pop culture scene right now. I don't think they'll be remembered or truly outlive or really last. Hopefully they'll be forgotten, because I thought it was pretty terrible. I mean, especially being a lover of multiple forms of music, as you are as well, and knowing a thing or two about history and just the great music that's out there. It pains me to know that this sort of, I'll call it trash, and this is my opinion only, suffices as music these days. So in that case, I'll just say it was very radio worthy.
Yeah, I actually am inclined to agree with that. That particularly, music has become so muddled in its meaning. I mean, like, especially, you know, if you look back at just even as recently as the 70s and 80s, music used to have meaning. Even in the 90s, you know, people actually took like anguish, you know, emotion and made
it was real.
It was real. Like music was their outlet. They made these songs, or they meant something. Like, you know, people like made music like to protest the war or whatever, like promoting peace or things, or just really like about love, like real love songs. You know, not just like this dippy, stupid one night stand bullshit. Like that one song that was about the one night stand. I could not believe that. It was just like, I have never heard a song like that in my entire life. It's always like, oh, I will fall in love with you. I'm not like everybody else. You know, I'm not going to treat you like a one-night stand. And this one was just like, hey, if you just want a one-night stand, I'm your guy. It's like, is this what we've become as a society? This is the kind of music that we are embracing now? Like meaningless drivel? Like, I don't know if that's the popular opinion, but as two
musicians, dare we say it?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't make my music in the hopes of being mega famous with millions of dollars and tens of thousands of fans and amphitheaters and stadiums filled to the brim. I understand my music will never be popular in that sense, but I'd hope that my music has enough meaning and emotion to outlive me.
Yeah, exactly. Or to at least inspire others.
Exactly.
Like, I don't see how people like Justin Bieber or, you know, Nicki Minaj or One Direction inspired people. Like, I can see it being like, you know, background party music or whatever, but I mean, is that really all music is now? Like, it's supposed to, it just, I don't like what society has made music now. Like, rock and roll, what happened to rock and roll? Like, you know what I mean? There is no such thing as rock and roll anymore.
There isn't.
It's all watered down, meaningless crap. I mean, it really is.
And God forbid anyone famous know how to play an instrument. And if they do, God forbid they actually show skill and talent with it.
Yeah, I know. It's almost like, you know how people, like, back in the day, like, there used to be good bands, and they started off in their garages, and they just were the passion, and that they didn't have any money, they didn't care, they just wanted to make their music, and they became huge, and then people would get pissed because after, like, the third album or whatever, they'd sell out.
Yeah.
It's like people start off at the sellout level now.
Oh,
They just start there, and that's where it is, and that's why they're famous. 'Cause
Sell their soul.
Yeah, they sell out from the beginning, and how is that of any substance whatsoever? I mean,
I'm sorry, I like depth, character, and plot in my music, movies, and media.
yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know. I'm abnormal.
You're not supposed to have free will, and good thing Big Brother is watching.
Hey, I got a fever, and the only prescription is
More cowbell.
exactly. Jeez, fuck.
On that note,
Oh, you're in real trouble now.
And now it is time for your guys' questions about music that you asked in the comments from the last episode. So we have a question from In the Mind of Stephanie. What is a song that may not exactly be sad, but makes you tear up because of memories associated with it? I've got one.
I got one too.
Awesome. You wanna go first?
National anthem. Enough said.
There you go. Yep.
What is your answer, dear?
My answer, dear, is One Headlight by the Wallflowers. And it's not sad. The song itself is a little bit sad, but that's not why it makes me tear up. It makes me tear up because it reminds me of back in the 90s when I used to listen to that song all the time. I used to listen to it back and forth from marching band practice. And it takes me back to a better, more simpler time in my life. And it's like very nostalgic for me, and it just kind of tugs my heartstrings a little bit. So,
Righteous answer.
Righteous! Oh, I think this one is for you, Mike. I think you're gonna ask this, or you're gonna answer this. If the both of you got to meet the god of music, Apollo, what do you think you would say to him? That's all you Greek mythology guy.
Apollo, the god of music, also known as the god of the solar arrow and the god of the sun, also with Helios. And anyways, and when he's Romanized, he actually said Apollo, which is interesting. But anyways, beside the point, I would ask him what he thought of my music. Legitimately, I'd play some songs, but like, what do you think, brohan? You liking this? Is this good? Is this crap?
Two people asked, what is your guilty pleasure song? So, yeah, we'll answer this. My guilty pleasure song is Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. Your turn.
My guilty pleasure song is Cotton Eye Joe by the Rednecks.
Oh my god, yes! I'm named Cotton Eye Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Thank you guys for your questions. Sorry we couldn't answer all of them, but good questions from everyone nonetheless. And next week's question topic is... Star Wars.
Oh,
Star Wars. In light of the new movie coming out, we're doing a special Star Wars themed episode next week, and it actually is going to be next week since it's coming out. Bring on the Star Wars questions, and it can be anything, behind the scenes stuff, questions about how we feel about the movies.
intensely deep-seated hidden read between the lines trivia associated with the alternate non-movie related universe.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Wars in the Stars.
So that's next week's topic. And gear up and make sure you tune in for that one, because we're going to make it fun. We're going to make it fun. I mean, look at this. I'm a Jedi, for Christ's sake. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm a Wookiee.
Do it. Alright, fan mail. This is from Gothic Porcelain Doll is her YouTube name, and she put on here. Hey, I saw your video and I liked it very much. I like how you do your makeup and I liked your Halloween costume. The Lunchbox show was cool and sounds like fun too. Is Michael your boyfriend? Yes. Yes, he is.
Indubitably.
Very, very much. If so, you are the luckiest person because he is gorgeous.
Is he?
I'm serious. This is
Oh,
it right there. Look at
wow.
that. I told you.
Thanks, Miss Doll.
I would love to have a guy like him. That's what she says. Well, I am quite lucky, I gotta say. He is quite the you said something about Q&As about cats, right? I have a question. What will happen if you give a cat milk with food coloring in it? Will the cat get sick? I'm so sorry about your friend Millie. It's sad to hear that you lost a very special friend. At least she is in a better place now. Yes, sincerely, Gothic Porcelain Doll. Okay, well, thank you very much. That's very, very sweet of you to say all those things. And let's see, if you give a cat milk with food coloring, I have no idea, and I don't know why anybody would do that, to be honest. That's a very bizarre thing to do.
I imagine it'd be harmful. We eat it, but
Yeah.
I know there's certain things like chocolate, for example.
That's true. I wouldn't, just to be safe, because
Same here.
I don't know why one would do that anyway. That's very strange. But yeah, just don't do it. And random shout out time. Commenters from the last video. We're gonna go, hi Mad Hattress.
Hi, Mad Hattress.
You're cool, and I already answered your question in the comments, but thought I'd say hi again anyway.
Hello, Tanya Mueller. I believe that's how it's said.
Tanya Mueller, you with an umlaut. Umlaut.
Gonna say that.
So, hello, thank you for watching, thank you for commenting.
Thank you.
And yayiness and stuff. Let's see. Oh, and there's Gothic Porcelain Doll.
Oh,
hi.
I got the porcelain doll.
We just read your letter. Hello, Erica Gardner.
Hello, Erica Gardner.
Thanks for watching. I always notice your comments, of course. I remember you. I will remember you. Oh, thank you.
You have an awesome day.
Victoria Butler.
Hello, Victoria Butler.
Hi. We're randomly,
Hello.
seriously just randomly scrolling through the people and picking people. So there you go. Well, I guess that wraps it up for this episode of the Lunchbox. This musical episode of the Lunchbox. And we will see you guys next time in the Star Wars episode.
We'll see you a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Thanks for watching, guys. Leave your comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share with your friends. Be sure to tune in next time. Bye.